but the building products division. We have a product range for buildings, and what we are discussing today is the product for the lining, which is for you probably more interesting. So I can be here 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, but we have already 30 minutes delay. So I will give you a brief introduction on the company, and I will show you a little bit the type of projects that we are doing. And then afterwards, if you wish, we can always have a personal discussion today or later on this, whatever you like. So Firestone, perhaps some people know the name already. It is actually an American-based tire company, and this is Mr. Firestone, so it's a family business. It started in 1900, and it was the, this is Mr. Firestone, and here we have Henry Ford, who made the first T model. So he was building the cars, and Mr. Firestone was making the tires. So that's how they went together. Then in 1930, the Ishibashi family in Japan founded Bridgestone Corporation, which is as well a tire manufacturer. And in 88, 89, Firestone and Bridgestone went together. So now it is one company under the umbrella of Bridgestone. But you have the Firestone brand, mainly in USA, and you have Bridgestone, Japan, and Europe, and all the other countries. So our mother company is actually Japanese, and we are reporting directly to Bridgestone Americas in Tennessee, in Nashville, and this is my division. The building products is over here. Then they have other activities. It's a big group, 140,000 people worldwide, and I think that for the last fiscal year we will do about $35 billion as a group. With regards to the building products, my division, we are almost 2,000 people, and we are doing about $2 billion turnover. This is how we are organized. So our headquarters is in the USA, in Nashville, and I myself, I am based in Brussels, in Europe, in Belgica, and Brussels is actually responsible for Asia, Middle East, and Africa. Okay. The products that I will present to you are principally made in this plant, which is a plant in Arkansas, in Prescott, and it's the biggest EPDM facility worldwide. They are producing, they have a production capacity of 80 million square meters of EPDM per year. We have other products as well. This is more for the building side, for the roofing. We have some bitumen, and for the roofing side, we are the biggest insulation manufacturer in the world. We are producing 80 million square meters as well. Alright, so this is the part that you are interested in. It all started with our first project, which was based in Spain, and it was this reservoir here. It was built in 73, so we are already 45 years worldwide into the business doing this type of project. This is a water reservoir. This picture was taken in 2013, and the original membrane is still in a good shape. So if people here want to see it, I can invite you, you can come with me, and we can see it in Spain as it is. In the 70s and the 80s, we bought a company named Indie Rubber in Spain, and that's where those type of products were produced. It was not EPDM yet, but it was some kind of butyl, as they call it, so some kind of in-between. Those are the projects that we made in Spain, so they're actually water reservoirs that can be used for irrigation. The first canal that we made was in Sicily, in Italy, in '89. So you see here how it is done. And in the 90s, we started as well by producing EPDM for what we call the decorative ponds. So in Europe, a lot of private people in their garden, they have this type of little ponds where they have fish or plants. This is what, it's a very big business in Europe. Another application is country club and golf courses. And this is here a very big project that we did in Australia some years ago. It was 150 kilometers long, and this is a canal that is connecting different farms for irrigation. I have a little movie. I will show it afterwards after the presentation. And today we have already installed 185 million square meters of membranes in all different applications. So we are talking about the geomembrane. So what is actually the aim of what we are doing is that we try not to waste water. So our membranes are actually synthetic and we have a low permeability. So this means that if you catch the water will not go into the soil. This is basically it. We have two categories, which is very important because a lot of different producers are producing different products for the same application. We have thermosets, which is our type of EPDM membrane, and we have thermoplastics. What is the difference? A thermoplastic, those are products like PVC, HDPE, low density polyethylene, etc. Actually, when you have heat, or you heat up the product, it will become liquid. Yeah? And if you are putting the membranes together, you need to have a hot air type of machine with electricity to weld it together. This is the typical way that they are doing it with thermoplastics. Now, the negative thing about thermoplastics is that they have a certain elongation, but if you stretch, they do not come back to the original form. This means that due to the temperature differences, after some time, you will see some waving because they expand, but they cannot go back. With the EPDM, you have a very long elongation, meaning that you can stretch it, and it will come back to the original form. So you don't have those waving effects. So this is the thermoset elastomer as EPDM. Now, here, what is typical is before we supply the membranes to the market, we cure it. We put it into an oven at the temperature of about 180 degrees to vulcanize it. And afterwards, the material, when it gets out of the oven, it stays inert. So it's very good for temperature differences and it can withstand a lot. And it has an elastic behavior, so you stretch it and it comes back into the original shape. You can stretch it too much, but then it breaks. But okay, you have to be very strong already before you can break this type of membrane. What is into this type of membrane? So this is actually what we are talking about. This is the type of membrane that you see here. So show it to the other people as well. You can try to stretch it, but actually the polymer at the beginning is white. And you will see it has a black color. Why is that? Because there is a lot of carbon black. In our products, we have more than 25% additive carbon black, and this is very good for UV resistance. Yes? So it is black because of the carbon black into the product. Yeah? And actually it absorbs the UV radiation and it transforms it into heat that goes out of the membrane. We have the polymer. This is good for the weathering and the aging resistance. We have some clay for dimensional stability. We have some processed oils for the flexibility and curing agents. And this makes one compound, or basic compound for this type of membrane. This is the production process. I will not go really into details, but all the different elements are put together, go through a mixer. Then we have stock slabs, and we go through a calendar. So there are two membranes coming from here that are going through this calendar here. And in the calendar, they will readjust the thickness of the membrane. So you have two sheets going through the calendar and become one. Then, this is very important. Here, the width of the sheets is 3 meters. And we have what we call the assembling into our production plant. So here we have 3 meters on 15 meters, and we make very, very big sheets out of it. Those are the mother sheets, and then those go into the oven for curing at 180 degrees. Comes out, then we cut the mother membranes in different sizes, we roll it, and it is supplied to the market. So yeah, this is a little bit more into detail, but we have for the first product range is GeoGard, which is for the more technical applications. We have two thicknesses, it's 1.1 millimeter and 1.5 millimeter. Now we have a top quality product. So a lot of, if you look at bitumen or other type of products, they will offer you 4 or 5 millimeter thickness. Okay, we don't need that. We can have better performance with less thick material. We can have different widths from 3 meter to 15 meter because we assemble the products into the company, and we have two lengths, 30 and 61 meter. Okay, so this means that we can supply to the market very big sheets of 60 meter long by 15 meter wide in one piece. So we go very fast when we do the installation if we have very big surfaces to cover. This is one of the main advantages. Now the core is always 3 meter wide because we need to transport it, and what we do is if you have 9 meter, we have 3 layers. We pack it in 3 layers, we bring it to the site, and then you just open it. Quite easy, and you roll it out. On technical performance, due to the carbon black, we have very good aging properties for good UV resistance, ozone resistance, so combination of water and oxygen. It's chemically stable, so there is nothing coming out of the membrane, even if the membrane is there for 30 years. So there are no plasticizers in it or other products that can be toxic for the environment. And this is very important. High elasticity, so actually a dog bone, this means if you stretch it, it gets thinner at the middle. And the EPDM, you have some pieces, if you stretch it, it comes back. So this is the elongation what we have here. What is this? Oh, I'm blocked. What is happening? Let me see. Yeah, well, I clicked on something. Okay. So our membranes have a very high puncture resistance. Normally you have to well prepare the soil, but sometimes you have stones in it, and actually our membrane, it will take the form ultimately of the stone. It will not puncture. Of course, if the stones are too sharp, you have to be very careful. But we have some test results, and those tests are very good. Here you see that EPDM, as a geomembrane, has the biggest resistance to puncture compared to HDPE or PVC. So this is breaking much easier than the EPDM membrane. Another thing is that I told you that we can provide you with very big sheets, meaning that we need to have lesser to have the same surface. We have lesser seams with less risk of problems. It's a simple seaming process. Actually, it's we are using some kind of tape in between, and we are using a primer, which is a chemically activator, and we are putting this in between two sheets. And the longer the sheets are staying together, the better the bond becomes. So even after 20 years, the bonding is even better than at the beginning. So we don't need electrical tools, and it's very easy to repair. Actually, it's like before, when you had a bicycle and you broke your bicycle, you can just patch it, yes? So it's very easy, you don't have to start cutting. It's like a patch. You patch it on there, and it is fixed in 10-15 minutes. It's environmental friendly. Here as well, studies have demonstrated that actually the impact of EPDM through the life cycle is quite minimal, much lesser than PVC or other materials. Okay, so what are the type of projects that we are doing worldwide? We have two brands or ranges. This is the GeoGard and the PondGuard. GeoGard you have in 1.1 and 1.5 millimeter. It's more for the technical type of projects, and the PondGuard is 1 millimeter, is more for fish ponds, etc. So on the GeoGard we have worldwide 11 types of applications that we are doing a lot. The biggest part is irrigation ponds. So we capture the water, and it stays here into the pond until they need it to go for the fields or the crops. This is in New Zealand, 62,000 square meter. This is one in Spain, 118,000. So they are very big ponds. One in France, a smaller one. Different shapes you see here as well. Those are two projects that we have done in France again. Another one, this is a very big one, 240,000 square meter. And we have, this is one in Oman that we put, Senegal, in Africa, Turkey, South Korea. So we are doing this type of application throughout the world. Another application that we have is hydroelectrical power plants. Yeah. So if they capture the water to go into the turbines, you have the canal that gives the water, and here you have the membrane. It is bonded, and there as well, depending on the speed of the water going through, we can choose between different types of products to offer. This is a hydro canal in Serbia, in Central Europe. You see, so we prepare the soil, and then afterwards everything is done. In a lot of cases, we do renovation projects where the original canals were done in concrete. But after some time, the concrete gets cracks, and then you get a loss of water. Can be very important. So then we fill up the cracks of the concrete, and we put our membranes on top of it. Aquaculture is something that it's really getting very big. We have very big projects in Southeast Asia. I'm working now in the Emirates on a project for shrimp, and we have a lot of fish farming as well. So we have certificates that our membranes are non-toxic for aquaculture life. It can as well be algae, this we are doing as well. Different types of fish we can put in there. So you see, this is one in the USA, almost 500,000 square meter. This is another one in the USA, outside fish hatcheries. This is in the Netherlands, where we have some mussels. And this is in Spain as well. And this is the algae production that I was mentioning. Dung pits, if you have big farms, you have the excrements of the animals. Of course, in a lot of countries they just leave it as it is, but if it goes into the soil, it can contaminate the underground water. And that is why what they do is they collect all of this into this type of reservoir, and then they will clean with specific products or plants even. They will clean until the water can be used again. Yes. So, and our products are very good resistant to bacteria. So there is no effect of this onto our membranes. Those are a couple of small ones in France and Central Europe. Another thing is wastewater. Mainly when you have villages outside of the big cities, they are alone, and if they have water to be treated, they treat it in this type of reservoirs. Yeah. So this is mainly outside of the big cities. Yeah. And this is the same principle. We call it the constructed wetland. Actually, the filthy water is being introduced here, and then you have 3 layers with different type of plants, and the water goes from one layer to the other, and it is it is filtered by those type of plants. So there are no chemicals. In 3 phases or 4 phases, depending how bad the quality of the water is, they can have water that is reused for the farmers and for the fields for the crops. Okay. Landfill covers, I don't know what the status is of this into the Kingdom of Saudi, but this is the waste from the cities, you know, everything, the normal waste. They put very big pits, and then they put everything in there. Now, there are 2 inconveniences. If it is filled up, you have a lot of birds and animals, they go there, and this is not good because they can spread bacteria. Yeah. So in Europe, for instance, now the law says that they need to cover it. Yes, they need to cover it, and then our membrane are very flexible. So what happens is normally there is some kind of natural production of gas. Yes. So what they do, they cover it with our membrane. They have specific pipes where they capture the gas, and with the gas they can resell it for instance, companies to heat up in winter time, or even for households. So before nothing happened, the gases, they just went into the air, and now they put the membrane on top, and they recuperate the gas. Now there is one thing here, is that on the bottom, normally they put HDPE. Why? Because in those households you have sometimes fats or benzene, gas oil, petrol, or whatever. Yes, and this is something that is bad for our membrane. So a contact with typical specific greases or petrol, etc. Normally we do not use our membrane. That's why HDPE is a better product for the bottom. We use our membrane on the top because it's very flexible, elastic. If the gases are coming up, it blows up, but it will not break. Okay. So perhaps this is as well a future application for your country here. Yeah, some examples can be big. You see 93,000 square meters. So this is all covered with our membrane. Artificial snow reservoirs, you don't have it here in Saudi Arabia, but what happens is the snow in summertime, when it melts, it becomes water, and they just capture the water that is used for the animals or whatever. But this you don't have. This is important in cities, or if you have manufacturing plants. If there is a fire, you need water, and in a lot of countries now they are putting obligatory this big water reservoirs so that they can take the water if something happens with the plant. And then we have the stormwater reservoirs. Actually, those are reservoirs that capture the overflow and make sure that the people don't have all the water coming into the houses. And sometimes here, then, underneath, that's where the water is captured as well. This is the same principle. Ditches. And this is an application that is being utilized more and more. In a lot of countries now, they are using wind energy and solar energy. They are putting very big solar plants. Now, there is a system to cool down as well. And actually, this cooling down system, the water is coming from those big reservoirs here. Yeah? So there is a recycling that is going through the system for cooling off the thermal plants, and then the warm water is going back here, and then it is cooled off again. Hydroelectric power plants, we have already discussed this. And yes, those are other applications, the artificial lakes that you have, those parks for children, whatever. You have this type of water features, as we call it. Legoland in Malaysia, these little boat lakes. And a very big product range for Firestone is the golf courses. So every time that you have this special form, so not a rectangular shape, then our products are very fit for it because it's elastic and it adapts to the surrounding. Yeah? You see here this special shapes, and this is a very good application for our product. So GeoGard, this is for the more technical applications, and then we have the pond guard. It's a 1 millimeter, and this is more for, I would say, the household and private applications. This is again, it's something typical for Europe. In Europe, all the people, they have this, the gardens, private gardens, and they put the little ponds into it. Little waterfalls. And what we have in Europe as well is that instead of using chemicals for the filtering of the swimming pools, they do it with natural type of filtering systems with plants or with biofilters. And this is used as well as a swimming pond. Yeah? Not a swimming pool. A swimming pool you use the chlorides to yes. This is with the natural filters. You see? Artificial lakes, if you have buildings around, they want to have some water around the buildings, a lot of water. You see this. Water fountains with parks, golf courses again. Okay, so this is mainly the type of application that we can offer you. Now, something very important from Firestone is that we provide a lot of training, because we have a very good system. So we have the membranes, but we have everything, the bonding adhesive, the primers to put together. Of course, it is very important for the owners of the project that they have a very good and long warranty. And for this we are giving the applicators training. We can give it here in Saudi Arabia. We are setting up a training center in Dubai. We have training centers in Brussels, and the people can come and have some practical training for the finishing of the different products. And after the training, you have a certification. Second thing is that we have our engineers. If there is a big project or a complicated project, they come at the beginning of the project to help the applicators to start it up. Then at the middle of the project we come again, and at the end of the project we make a full overview of what needs to be done, if everything is okay, to give you the warranty on the project. Depending on the project, warranty can go from standard 10 years to 20, 30 years or even more, depending on the product that you are using. Okay, all plants are ISO certified. We have the ISO 9000, but we have as well the 14000 for environment. We have other type of certifications or markings. This is now for Central Europe, and we have as well specific certifications as well. This is used a lot in France as well, and actually it's a quality guarantee for installers and end users. We have all the information available as well on our different type of projects that we have done, and for the installers we do the full calculation. So we get the information from the design or architects or the landscaping architects, and we calculate everything that is needed to be done to start up the project. Okay, and then at the end we have the certification of the warranty. This is a materials warranty or a system warranty. Depending on what the thickness is that you are using, it can be 10 years or more. And okay, Firestone, Bridgestone, if we give you a warranty or the end customer, he gets the warranty, this is really serious. So we have been there for 45 years already in the lining, and we will be there for another 50 years. So whenever you have a problem after 20, 30 or 40 years, we will be there to give you the support to fix it. Yeah. This is why we are giving those official warranty documents. This was a very small introduction. I will show you, to finalize very quickly, a little movie of a big project that we have done for an irrigation scheme in Australia. In Australia, the government gives to the farmers a certain financial incentives